Okay, at this point you've drawn your 4 pieces, you've cut them out. Make sure they look like this, okay? Some people's fins have been wrong where they go over ½ an inch, but then they go to the corner. You gotta make sure it goes up ½ an inch on both sides. Now, if you haven't, you also need to score and fold, or score the lines you're going to fold on. And so on these ones I have right here, it's the ones that I've already scored. You can see them in the pin mark. These right here, these 2 lines, here and here, are cut lines. So you take your scissors and you cut a slit up to there and you stop. Up to there and you stop. So it should look like this, where these things can move around. Do not cut them off, just cut up to that point. Alright, so I've already scored this line, but remember what scoring means is you take a ballpoint pen, and take your ruler and you put it on that line and you push down pretty hard, okay, a couple times. Not so hard that you cut through, just hard enough to where it makes a crease. Then you're going to fold those lines, and so when you fold, okay, don't do this, don't take this piece and just start to bend it, because it'll look kind of wavy like bacon. So here's the trick. Turn it over on the other side, put your ruler right below that line you just folded, and take the whole piece and get it started. Okay, you can see that that's not 90 degrees, but all you gotta do is put it down, fold that all the way over, and then you can make that thing perfectly 90 degrees like that. So again, I put this pen or this ruler right underneath that line, do the whole fold at one time, and then fold it down and smooth it out. So there we have that's pretty much 90 degrees on each side. So I'm going to do the same over here. I'll turn this thing over. I'm going to put the ruler right below that fold line, or not fold, yeah, the line that I scored, and just get the whole thing started. Once it's started, you can just turn it over and fold it like that. Okay, same thing on the other side. Put the ruler right below it. Push the ruler down and just get it started. Now, you do have to fold this line, okay, because this flap is going to go down, and so we don't want it to kind of, just curve down. We want it to go straight down. So just take this and just fold it down. It's already scored, so it should just fold down like that. Okay. All right. Now we got to put it all together. Okay. So here's how I would do it. Are there different ways to do this? Yes, but this is how I would do it. You want to make sure that whenever this thing is sitting on the ground, that this flap back here is touching the ground. So in order to make it stay touching, I'm just going to get a piece of tape. You can use any kind of tape. You can use clear tape. You can use masking tape. I'm going to use masking tape because it's easier to get off of the thing. So I'm just taping this down so that this thing stays down. It just helps me keep it to the table, and it also helps me keep this from moving around when I'm trying to tape. Now, you can use glue stick if you want. For this part, I wouldn't do glue stick. I would use tape, and I'm going to do the clear tape for this. So I'm going to get a piece of tape, and the trick is you want it to be touching the ground, and then this flap has to, and it's going to be hard to see from straight overhead, but this has to be right up against it. And however you want to do this, okay, you can put some tape like this. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the tape where it's kind of half on with a little bit hanging off. Push it down, and then I'm just going to pull this part up with my finger, get that touching, and then touch it there. Okay, so watch again how I did this on the other side. So I'm going to move this flap over, leave this tape kind of hanging over the edge a little bit, smooth it down so it stays on the part that you want it to stay on. Just kind of peel it back a little bit, push this up against there, and let it go. Okay, so at this point, if you look, so I've got that tape along that side, and I've got the tape along that side. Now, if you want, you can leave this on the table. You want to make sure that this gap is sealed. So now that you've got it kind of held in place, you can get some more tape and kind of do the same thing. I'm going to put some right here, kind of push it in that little seam there, fill that up. I'll do the same over here. And if there's any kind of hanging over the top like this, look, where it's hanging over the top, I would take my scissors and trim that off. So let me do that now. So I'm going to take my scissors and trim that off. Remember, I want these things to be neat. So as neat as you can make them, the better your grade's going to be. Okay, so now that part is done. That's the kind of the hard part. Now for the fins back here in the back, they go like this. Let me see, I'm trying like this. They go like this at the very back of the skimmer and the very bottom of the skimmer. So I would do it with this on the ground. So just push it back as far as you can where your finger's touching this back flap, and then tape that on there, and then the same thing for the other side, like this. Now, if you want to use a glue stick, you could on this part. Okay, you could glue stick that. I'm just going to use tape on this, but you do whatever you're more comfortable with. So on this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tape where it's, and I'll show you this. I'm going to put the tape where it's kind of hanging up, so this is the sticky side over here, where it's kind of hanging up. And then I'm going to put this in where I want it, and just push that tape down. Okay. Now, it will still flap in, but it won't flap out, which is what I want. And then I'm going to turn it over upside down, and I'm going to tape this side, and get that tape down. Now that's pretty solid. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to get a piece of tape. So the sticky part's facing out. I'm going to put it like this. Put this fin up against this side, and push that tape down. Again, it'll flap in. I don't want that, so I'm going to turn it over and tape this down like that. Okay, and look, if it's still moving around, you can add more tape to different places. Okay, whatever works for you. But you want these things to be as straight up and down as possible without you having to hold them. And the last piece to put it together is the air scoop. Now, when you fold the air scoop, you'll see that you have a small side and a big side. Remember, this is 1/8 of an inch. This is 3/8 of an inch. The small side goes towards the front of the skimmer. So here's the back. The small side goes towards the front. I'm gonna put this in here, and it should fit perfectly. Like I'm just set right in there. If yours doesn't fit perfectly, then some measurement is wrong, and it just makes everything else not fit very well. So I'm gonna slide this thing all the way till it's right at the front, just to make sure it fits. Notice that this is 3/8 of an inch. It shouldn't be touching this flap at the top, because remember, this was 1/2 an inch. So you want it to be below the bottom of the skimmer. Now for this part, I think it's easier if everything fits nicely. I think it's easier to glue stick this. So I'm gonna get my glue stick out and show you how I would do that. You can tape it. It's just hard to get the tape in there. So I'm gonna unfold this for a minute. Put some glue on this side. Put some glue on this side, and then make sure you get it back to close to 90 degrees, as close as you can, and then put it in here. Remember, it goes way down up against the underside of the skimmer, and put it all the way at the front. Now, you know, in order to get the glue to stick really well, you got to kind of squeeze this. You don't want to squeeze too hard because it'll bend. One trick that I have done in the past is I get my ruler. And it's hard for me to show this, but I'm going to put my ruler inside of this, so inside that little part, put it up down against the table, and then just kind of push down. So I'm using the table and the ruler to kind of push those two things together. So I'll do that on the other side. You got to make sure stuff doesn't move. Like this moved a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, let's push this down. Okay, and that is almost complete. Okay, you're done assembling it. Now you just have to put. Let me show you when it's already done. You have to have a brad in the bottom of this. It sticks out a little bit, not too much to where you see it, you know, sticking out of the bottom like this, but it's underneath there. It sticks out a little bit, so the rubber band can hook around it. So here's what you do. You will put a mark with a pen or pencil wherever you want me to poke the hole. So it doesn't matter. I would center it this way, but it doesn't matter this way. You choose. So you put a little dot, then you come up to my desk. I will get my X-Acto knife, and I will cut this for you. So cut this out. Then you're going to get a brad and a washer. So the brad goes through the bottom. It does not go all the way. You don't want to make it go all the way. You just leave it out a little bit. On the other side, you're going to put the washer on it. And the trick to do this is, if you kind of get it where you want it, and you put your fingers and you kind of pinch and hold this, Then you just take these two prongs on the brad, you bend them out, make sure that this, if you turn it over, make sure that that's still sticking out, not too much, not too little, and then get some tape and tape this down. Tape it, and I put a couple pieces of tape on there just to make sure it doesn't move on you. And that is a completed air skimmer. If you want to decorate it, you can. If you want to draw on it, you can. But you can practice shooting it as well.